me is this idea of interdisciplinary, knowing people from various backgrounds and being around the table, so to speak, together. For me, coming from many ways an arts background, that really excites me because I just love meeting and connecting with interesting people and checking out new art and with regard to technology, how that can further, well, how it's kind of another color or another aspect to our palette in a way, especially with games, which I think is one of the most interdisciplinary fields there is personally. I'm just happy to be in the mix and to be back in person and the Discord communities and Facebook and LinkedIn. I think these all were lifeline to us. And on the other side, hopefully now with some aspects of the pandemic, those can be further utilized and it's a very dynamic field. So I'm just happy to be part of it and to the folks.
I really love thank you. So, the main way for me to connect with them is by Twitter, because and YouTube. Follow up and we follow up, right? So Twitter is a natural way to let everybody connect, which is and also Discord sometimes. So yeah, I hope now I have found a new way to connect with evidence to meet this is the first time I've done this activity. Yeah, since I came to America, so it's a good opportunity. Thank you.
So those of you who have questions, your job is to ask the questions of the panel and sort of contribute to the conversation.
Should people just shout them out, or
no? They're going to hand you something.
Well, that's something then I'll read out this one. Thank you for the question. It's not really what we're talking about. What do you think is available by collaborating outside from the studio? So again, start. Yeah. I'll tell you one practical thing for me has been, like I grew up in the capital region before we had this kind of European scene, but I'm so excited that we have now. And more of handful of studios and constantly sort of these freelancers. But I grew up where it was sort of, these various visions and various visions, and then we were first cycle, a couple of our game industry. And it was just a very brittle thing. I mean, those were lovely studios, sure at the time. I remember first playing ball at the time. But I have friends who work with those studios who, for whatever reason, weren't able to stay on, either because they would be these kind of moving bus hiring cycles based on projects, stepping down and stepping up, and they couldn't wait around to get hired. And there was sort of nothing else, like they only kind of knew people at their studio. And of course, in our region, also weren't that many other people who know, like there weren't that many other game developers. So that, I just think, makes the local ecosystem really brittle, and also like really good friends that I grew up with and leave the area. So people I think were super talented, talking times about game design and other topics, so I think it could be some career, we I think would be an asset. So I don't know, that's one thing that I think is available, like operating outside of the studio, just from a purely pragmatic perspective, like when things go down, you end up leaving your current studio, which happens for various reasons, then it's good to have a local community of other people you're connected to, if only for job hunting, but certainly just for like mutual support and not too isolated. I was trying to make indie games in Toronto, living in Troy, back in 2006 or so. My first game was the first playable, right when I started, worked there for like a year or two in cyberline, and so I did that for as long as I could sustain it. It was very isolating, it was very depressing. And I wasn't able to sustain it for as long as I would like to. And part of that was just finally finding new people that I knew who had their own problems, and they were able to play what I wasn't, so I only half them so anyway, those are some things that I think are available. It's just more like a safety net and more, a way to be not isolated. Any other thoughts? What do you think is available about collaborating?
So I also have a question, which is what can other studios offer you, and I think that is related to what you're saying. So reasons to collaborate at separate studio, I don't think I mentioned in my introduction, but I actually have a freelance exposure in sound center. And so I don't get to do that in my day job because I'm a QA. I don't make it, I just test it. So, that is one thing that I get my recommendations outside of the studio is that, I have management both within and outside of the studio for furthering my skills, but also having opportunities to participate in game jams, side projects, things like that. That's another reason why it's good to have networking outside the studio. You've got multiple different skills that you can explore that maybe you don't get to do with your day job. That's a good way to do it. As far as learning what kind of studios offer you, there's a lot you can learn from other studios that have entire established processes that may be different than yours. And that's true even if you're doing solo projects as well, learning from other people, what's worked for them and what hasn't. I know I was not at various visions during the time when they were working with Bungie, but I've heard repeatedly that they learned so much working with Bungie in terms of organization and how the QA departments are organized, for example. So it's a really productive relationship in terms of learning things there. So it's definitely something to explore with what other studios can offer you and what you can learn from people outside of your studio as well.
Yeah, I'll just sort of add to that and say, not necessarily so much thinking about what other studios can bring you, but also thinking about what the community or what other individuals can bring you. So one of them is really connected to the title of this talk, which is that it might not be an indie bubble, which sort of suggests that it's sort of isolated but safe. It's probably closer to, something like a death pit, right? It's the more isolated you are, the more you're going to find it difficult to survive. So what can you gain? What can you possibly attain from engaging with the community? Well, not going around, kind of engaging other people, understanding what issues other people have faced around it. Some people have walked that path before. You don't need to walk it again. They can help you, they can tell you, they can show you all manner of resources and help that is available, or just software you should be using or not using, or whatever it is. It's all those kind of practical things. There's also the capacity to be able to, at a very simple level, just be able to vent about the situation and kind of know that people are understanding what we're talking about because they live that life too. So there's a camaraderie and a friendship that can come with that, which again means that you're starting to not be so isolated. You're not in a place where you cannot survive indefinitely if you are super isolated. And I understand that you might feel as if time spent away from you working on the project is time wasted to some extent. It's not you making progress on the project. But I would kick back on that and say, you all know that there are times in which you're making something, doing something, you're at the keyboard, you're putting in hours that aren't necessarily helpful hours, aren't necessarily taking you a place, but not necessarily in a direction that is ultimately helpful. There's a lot of benefit from taking a breath, stopping, breathing, checking what your thinking is, talking to other people who can be a listening post to you, some contributions to make. So, there's all of that. I mean, I just think if you want to survive, have any longevity to that, I just don't think it's really possible to do that in any kind of really healthy way if you are isolated. So it's kind of a, it's a super critical point to do with the longevity of you as a developer, you as a company, and sure, on your network building, and you know what? Maybe you finish the project and you know someone now who is looking for skill set that you have, or you're looking for skill sets that you can reach out to that community, that community network that you developed and engage them. So it's really everything to gain, and it's, you can't sustain a kind of isolated mentality for very long. I think in some ways, the last 2 years have been a good sort of thought experiment in that regard to kind of strip that concept.
I actually have another really good question here. So it says, why do game devs need the community? And I think kind of like a level on what you're saying. I mean, the good thing about having a community, I feel like, I mean, I personally feel like the design and development itself, it's like, I feel like we kind of are inherently driven by community, where we don't have the same kind of support networks, at least on the financial or like individual level that, you know, like companies and stuff have. So usually the best support that we have is each other. But even going kind of beyond that, if we're looking at like the industry as a whole, like communities for game devs are really good for, especially when they encourage communication with people who are like, so if you're in indie communicating with people who are in AA, AAA, stuff like that, and vice versa. Because I think there's a lot of strength in trying to understand what working on the other side of the industry kind of looks like. Like I have friends who work in AA, AAA, and stuff, and I've learned a lot about how their processes work and stuff, and how their companies run compared to mine and stuff. And they learned a lot about how my kind of like how we do things and what the indie landscape looks like. And I feel like it kind of softens the divide that I so often kind of noticed in these spaces. So finding communities like that are really good, especially like on a local level and stuff. Like we have like the NGA and stuff, spaces like this, finding ways to kind of create a space to find the developers rather than one or the other tends to be very helpful.
I've got a really good question here that I could probably talk all day about, so I'll try to keep my excitement contained. But Jamie, can I see the question that you had to pick this up? Because I want to kind of remix this question a little bit. What do you think, so by collaborating outside your studio, so I would say if you change a couple words and you say, if you're a musician, a jazz musician, what could you get by playing with another band? What could you get by playing with another lineup? I think a whole lot of exciting possibilities, right? You play with a new bassist, you play with a new keyboardist, new horn section, different drummer from another part of the world, specializing in a different genre. So for me, that's a lot of exciting possibilities. And I just, as folks were talking, I was thinking about in the context of music, you know, you sit in with another group and it's like a whole new world. So I think that's kind of interesting. The question that I have is, what advice do you have for junior high students to get involved in serious game development? So is the question like serious games, like training and simulation, or is it just like actually like the game dev as a whole, that whole world?
Yeah, design, coding, development, that whole.
Okay, so first thing I'm going to say, meet Jamie. Jamie and TVGS and a lot of the folks in the room who are involved in outreach groups talking about K through 12 and a lot of the great programs that exist here in this area. So I don't mind a shout out on the but Jamie and the group of people involved as volunteers have built a really nice welcoming community in a lot of different capacities. The other thing I would say is there's a wealth of amazing free and open source tools that I know I didn't have access to. I was younger growing up. In recent years, that's kind of increased even more. So depending on the style or genre or interest, there are amazing commercial tools and also amazing open source, freely available tools, game engines, graphic design programs, audio editors. And then I would say make a lot of games. Make a lot of prototypes that maybe do one or two little things, little sketches. Like if you're a visual artist, you can just sketch an outline of something, or a musician, you have a little melody or a little riff. Make a lot of low stakes prototypes and games and meet other people and show them, and, trade tips, tricks, and that's kind of an exciting journey, especially if you started in junior high. So there's a wealth of resources, and the last one also is YouTube and the internet, which can be an amazing community for tutorials and screen sharing and things like that. So I get super excited about that because I feel like we have access to tools that are just so empowering as artists and creators. Once again, that I didn't have in junior high, it just didn't exist. So it's a great time to be interested in that.
Really good question. So if you work solo but have an ambitious project, But no budget, do's and don'ts for money collaborators. Okay, so first, if you do not have a budget and whatsoever don't have an ambitious project, because it's not perfect, right? So, if you have limitation on your personal or budget, choose a project that you can finish a certain time with certain results. I do have some experience of working with no budget. This is a course project. When I was undergrad, I worked with 6 people. So I mentioned that this is an Android game of memorizing words. So this 6 people was actually not programming one is not by me. Okay, and some people help me find some resources like music, like pictures, learning pictures. The other 3 are creative. So my dues is that, first, don't find freelancers because they will do nothing but waste your time, or wasting time. You must find someone who is actually either attracted by the game itself, okay, or other attracted by values, okay. There must be something that attracts them. Yeah, you have the same goal to work on that, or provide they can operate, right? And do is I do find someone who can have complementary skills up with you, because you work solo, so you're the main contributor of this one. The whole story is designed by you, but so maybe there are certain tasks you can do. Find this kind of collaborators, okay? Others don't because they kind of it's safe, it's not fine. Okay, that's fine. Don't find freelancers. There.
So, just real quick going back a little bit, if you're in junior high and you're looking for development resources, one thing is that the BOCES program actually offers game design classes in high school. And I think a good few of the high schools in this area participate in that program. The building where those classes are hosted is at Johnson High School in Broward. And I think they bus students from several other districts in to attend those classes. I don't know if they have anything for junior high, but it would probably be worth talking to a guidance counselor or someone at the school and trying to see what sort of resources you can get into the school, because we're at the point where game development is a serious career. It's taken more seriously now, and the educational resources are becoming more and more present in public schools as well. And then I do also have a question here similar to the one that you just answered. And the one that I have is, if you're a solo designer with a large team idea you've been working on, what's the best way to get help with that person your ideas? There's a lot to unpack in here. For one, I would definitely agree, do not have an ambitious idea if you're a solo game designer, unless you have the budget to hire people. And that's number one way people want to work with you, pay them. Pay them. That's number one way to make it want to work with you, because why should they work with more projects than their own project, right? What are you providing? What are you giving them? You know, in return for all the hours and talent that you're asking them to invest in your project. So, if you want to go that route, and if you have the budget and you want to pursue ideas and collaborators, and you have the budget, you need to have more than an idea. Everyone's an idea person. You can't just have an idea. You have to have a prototype, you have to have a plan, you have to have a proof of concept, you have to have a plan for how you're going to get funding. You can't expect people to work with you forever. If you can look into crowdfunding, Kickstarter, investors, you gotta have some plan for people need more than credit. Credit is not pay bills. So that would be the normal thing that I have to say.
Yeah, I'll just answer that. So another avenue is thinking about equity share. So if you have an idea, the only way you think you can make it work is by having other people to help you realize it. Then equity share is a way of sharing some of that idea and what it's potentially worth down the line. It's a risk for that person who's you're engaging, because you know 50% of nothing is still more than nothing. So you know it's not to be taken lightly. Nevertheless, it is an option, and it's something you can pursue. I don't say it's but in a way, your task as an indie developer, if you're a one-person team, is to find the right idea that is practical for you. And that doesn't mean looking askance at AAA games and saying, well, I'm going to try for those things. They have certain disadvantages and certain advantages, and the situation is flipped for you. You have certain disadvantages for sure. But you also have advantages. You're much lighter, you can move much faster, you're not bogged down by fan bases and forums and franchise commitments and certain kind of gameplay requirements and scope of the scale of the game that means that they have to turn in that mistake that's going to play for 60 hours plus. And it has to have certain production values, and it has to, it's going to cost 300 million to make. And it can't be too experimental. Most experimental games, most of you will probably know, are not in the AAA space. They're in the indie space where people are doing, Lucas folks and these kind of characters who are doing strange, odd games that are strange enough and interesting enough to be engaging, but scoped appropriately for what that developer can actually feasibly do, what they can actually create. So your task as that kind of developer is to find the right idea. And that doesn't mean the biggest. We need the right idea that is most appropriate for your potential, your resources. And then figure out what is it that makes you, as that studio or that individual, uniquely capable of executing on that idea. Perhaps find one unique element that no one else is really being able to develop in the way that you have. And you've got the freedom then to make a game that's experimental on those lines, that might just play for 20 minutes, but be extremely replayable. Or just be this intense 10-minute experience that it's sold for practically nothing or it's given away free. Well, you're in a space that AAA developers are not. They cannot move in that space. So don't just get used to thinking about the disadvantages of your studio. Think about the kinds of things that you can do that will give you this unique advantage. I also said, got this thing in my face. I want to come back to the point you made, Michael, about kind of jazz and that sort of idea of what can you gain from collaborating. And for sure, we might all have projects that we actually don't want to collaborate on, and we're very clear about what it is that we're doing, and there's nothing wrong with that too. There is something to be said for recharging or re-energizing your tool set or your perspective by collaborating with engaging with other people and sort of testing something out of your comfort zone, seeing what they bring, new things. So in one of my other lives, I'm a board game designer, and I frequently collaborate with other people because I'm interested to see. I know what I would do with this idea, but I don't know what will happen when someone else is in the mix. That's an interesting challenge. It's an interesting space to be in, and connected to that is the idea of game jams, what you get out of that kind of pressure. And currently in a 72-hour board game jam right now. So, it's very fresh in my mind, and yes, there are certain interesting challenges that throws up, but they're unstoppable, and that's good. It keeps you fresh, it keeps you interested, it keeps you, unless you have sort of died inside, you're going to be open to what other people are throwing at you, and that's, you almost said that there's potential to grow there and to adapt and to push your skills, push your learning. You can always learn new stuff. Mechanics you hadn't thought of before, or a mechanic that you've had for a long time but really haven't known what to do with it. You say it, and someone says, you know what? That connects to this other thing that I have, or they give you this other idea of how to kind of riff off that. So that's very much like a sort of a jazz analogy, if you like, where you end up with something at the end of it you could not possibly have imagined had you not walked through that door and met those people and engaged in that way. So, like I said, you don't, it could be you've got your own project and you're doing it, but don't forget that that's kind of can be a useful thing to do. And I know when you're on the cusp of that game jam or collaboration, you think it's much easier if I just don't, and that's true. Most things much easier if you don't. But when you do, you can end up in a whole new place. It gives you this whole new perspective. You feel good about the challenge you take on, and you grow, right? So if you're interested in keeping growing, there's that separate.
Yeah, it was reminding me of some other examples in my own life and game development experiences, like working with people who weren't just like kind of from a typical game development background. Those have been some of the most like rewarding and sort of like creatively expanding experiences for me. And some of my favorite, game jams for hackathon type events have been explicitly designed that way to like bring game developers together with some of their audience that might be curious about games, but also bring this whole other type of expertise that we might not have. So there was an event called Games for the Many that I attended that was, I think it was organized in conjunction with the UK Labour Party. But the idea was a game jam that brought together like political activists and game makers for like a weekend. And like I get like a major creative charge out of that. And not just like removing people from the different disciplines that are associated with game development, but people have a totally different experience and background. Because a lot of those folks are interested in what we do and are interested in collaborating if it's presented to them. It just maybe like hasn't been or it hasn't like occurred to them in the same way that it's easy for us to get very insular and focus on our own projects and not think about like what others out there. So I don't know, I've been mulling that over. We had an event that we were running for a while in the game space called Include, which was a game jam series that was sort of trying to do a similar thing. We did some jams that were on different topics, like we did one that was local history themed, in collaboration with the Rensselaer County Historical Society, and starting to kind of go in that direction. And I don't know, kind of this idea of percolating for that whole process on that would be like exactly that. Like, what happens when we just put game developers in a room with like a completely different audience, profession or something. I would be like saying that kind of again, working with different people. Yeah.
Super quick. IndieGameJams.com. If you want to find, there's like dozens of game jams happening online at all times. You just want to pop in a game jam for a quick weekend or whatever, and there's nothing local happening. IndieGameJams.com. That's it.
I think also, Maurice mentioned the idea of like replenishing your creative energy, personal energy, and game jams, new skills, new vistas, just the idea of replenishing. Some of our projects can be really intense and really like a semester can be really intense project. That saw the title can be really intense and just replenishing. The other idea that was interesting you mentioned was that challenging yourself and growing. Like, we all could have stayed home today and just watched Netflix or just play a game or something, but everybody's physically made the effort to find parking and to be here in the room and to show up and to, also be outside of your comfort zone, meet new people. Meeting new people is not always particularly easy, so just playing games, saying hello, introducing yourself, it's kind of a simple concept, but it goes a long way. I think those are great ways to get out of your bubble, right? Is to keep pushing yourself, to keep growing, to keep doing new things. There's always something new to learn. So I don't think we're ever out of options, right? If you ever face that sort of like block or that creative, just think about some of those tools to keep you unstuck, to keep you, to get you some momentum. So thinking about the bubble, there's a lot out there, and pick something and go for it. Meet somebody, have a conversation, have a jam, a game jam. Think about some ideas, remix some ideas. For me, it's infinitely the possibilities are really exciting. It's not always easy, but it's fun and it's perfect. Some nice things people have said.
No, I was going to put this question on okay, so I have this question. in other presence do you find that events are more successful than efficient community building when they are mostly informational talks, mostly social, or neither? I suppose that depends what you mean by successful, what people want to get out of it. I suppose my quick and dirty answer on that is I imagine most of the time it's a mixture of both, but it tends to be the case that if there's a specific reason to go to something that people feel like there's a clear sort of goal there, but then percolating around that kind of around that kind of nucleus, there's this social orbit that allows people to sort of engage in a more freeform way. I guess imagine if those talks are successful enough and those communities are robust enough, then you don't necessarily need those anymore. Social events can percolate with their own kind of sense of pacing. But this is probably a question more for YouTube than really.
So I think it really depends. So at least the thing that I've learned about the community management as a career is that we kind of build communities to solve problems, and each community has different things that they're interested in, different things that can help bring people together. So yeah, it can be a mix of like what you were saying. Sometimes it's more focused on the social element. I feel like, especially in like at least developers, two-player communities, it's kind of very much like that social element. You're connecting with the developers and stuff, which a lot of players really appreciate. You're connecting with each other, and you're making camaraderie in those spaces. Some people like to bond over knowledge and stuff, some more educational spaces sometimes more appreciated to have kind of like those talks and stuff, and some space to like discuss them after. So that's kind of what I'm thinking with this sort of question. Do you have anything on that?
Sort of, yeah. I'm losing the thread of the question a little.
It was whether events that focus more on talks, stuff, and more successful.
Yeah.
Social events.
Well, I think you both nailed it. Like, your initial answer, like it depends on the goal. I think it depends on the focus of the community and the interest. Like, we've done a mix of, we've done like talks, standard presentations and things that are very informational for TDGS. And we've also tried a lot of other things with varying degrees of success to try to find what works. And at least for me, like, I don't know, I want to connect with people on a personal level. And one of the things that I kind of grew up around that there's a rich history in the region for is these forms of kind of like group therapy or like improv theater that's like more interactive. And I always think about that in the context of games because I think there's a lot of connections. But certainly in terms of community building, like seeing the way that those types of interactions were facilitated in a way that like creates a safe space that encourages people to be like a little more open about what they're struggling with each other and form deeper connections than just what do we both know about coding, which is a good thing to connect about too. But I mean, I want to like connect with people and make friends and feel like I have kind of bedrock of the community. That's what I was always kind of seeking. So again, kind of murky water. Like we hosted Monday community night for the game space that's virtual, and I've been ending at least kind of open-ended discussion prompts, kind of like some of these questions, but kind of trying to tailor them to in a way that gets people to not just talk about the latest game industry news, but to like share some personal experiences to the extent that they feel comfortable. As a way to just try to help people be more connected as a community. And it's hard. It's hard to moderate that kind of thing. I don't know if you kind of in the situation on the community management side. Like sometimes you have to make it really clear to people up front, like there's no you don't want to share but feel comfortable sharing. And also sometimes people share things that make other people uncomfortable or it's hard to navigate. So I think it's really best done with a trained facilitator, much like we have that is a fishbowl. More so like me, just trying to figure it out. So I'm trying to kind of make sure we don't do anything that's sort of wrong end of that line. So we kind of like dip a toe in that water, encourage people to open up a little more, but not really make feel comfortable doing. And then we have a group of moderators. We all collectively manage the task of kind of keeping things from getting too troublesome. But it's a challenge. It's always a risk. Like the more there's always risks waiting up. But personal, like, I live my life, like, try to live my life more like isolated than this.
So this speaking to your point, and also to your point earlier, have a life outside of being a game developer. Do things that are not game development. Like, you need to. Your brain needs to rest, and your brain will continue. If you're running into a block, if you're having a problem, sometimes the best thing you can do is step away from it. Your subconscious is still working on it, but there's no reason to keep hammering your consciousness into it. It's not healthy. And in terms of like having a community and meeting people and being able to talk to people outside of game development have a lot to offer you too. When you're making games, you're building worlds, you're telling stories, you're creating characters, you're creating rules, and your lived experience informs all of that. So you need to actually also live life. I learned this the hard way. Don't do what I did. Do not run yourself into the ground, burn yourself out, and make your life all about work and all about career advancement and all about making games. Do other things. Do other things too. Live life. Please. Please do that.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement there. I mean, I think beyond that, there's so much you can learn from people who do other things and stuff too. So like, I used to do community theater before COVID happened. And I remember one time I had somebody who at the time was doing like basically community management, but for parents who were like for parents whose students were like enrolled in like schools and stuff. And it was so interesting because like I immediately was like, feel like it's gotta be a little bit less rough than like working with players sometimes and stuff. And she was like, no, parents can be so mean. It was like a really interesting bonding experience to kind of like understand how your work translates to other industries and stuff, and if there's any takeaways you can take back from that. And even just with the other activities is really good for just personal development stuff too. Like I feel like I learned so much about like public speaking and things from doing theater, and you know, looking into those things is really good. And maybe you'll make a game about it. Yeah. Power washing simulator. You can make a fun game out of anything, but you have to know how it works in order to make a game about it. Right? Yeah, it definitely affects my approach to like writing social media copy and stuff too, because it's like acting in a sense. If you think about it, you had.
Yeah, I also have some comments on that. So something good is like a full-time job, part-time job. Same as if you work analyst without practical. So you need to have a plan. You need to have a plan that regulates each week, each day, even each hour. What you do. After you finish it, rest. If you didn't finish it, adjust your plan to make it more practical. But you must leave some time for you to work, to get some spirit, So do whatever you want, spare time, apart from the work time. Okay.
I have a question here. If you're an alumni of the university, what's the best way to find people? I think that's where community groups like TVGS and others really are kind of a nice bridge to, when you're in university, you're going 1,000 miles an hour, I feel like, and then you graduate, which is very exciting. And some people transition right into another level of acceleration or golf stream, and then some folks take some time to figure out what that next step actually is. I know I did that personally when I went to school over the various years. But it can be like a cliff in a way. So I think finding people is really important, and finding groups is really important. And start on the internet, and then you'll meet people, and you'll meet more people, and people will know other people, and then it'll be, before you know it, you'll have a room full of folks that you'll develop friendships with, you'll develop professional relationships with. You might go to a movie or play frisbee with. I mean, it's just the idea of engaging and meeting people. There's so many benefits, and as I said, really that's for community groups, people who are really investing their own time and energy are just so valuable. So I think that's a good question that I want to share. Perspectives on after university or after school or
Yeah, so I didn't look after school. It was part like looking up what the community, like the development community looked like around me. So when I graduated from RPI, I ended up moving back to New York City. So I ended up kind of looking through, like, we had
PTA chapter, and then from there I found, oh, there's PTA meetup, oh, I found out that like, Hawaii Game Center does some stuff, things like that. That's kind of like how you kind of find the community nearest you. Staying in touch with your colleagues, I mean, it's also fostering the community that you already had, like, kind of staying with the people that you went to school with and seeing how are you doing and stuff, like, what kind of stuff are you working on, and what you're doing. And then also for me personally, something I ended up doing a lot after college was, I volunteered for the Conference Associate program at TBC, which was a great way to meet other people in other parts of the industry and stuff, and kind of understand, like, kind of make friends with those other disciplines, and make some really genuine connections. But actually, I've built a lot of, like, very close friendships with people, like, some people that I'm still, like, really good friends with now. So there's a lot of opportunities, like, volunteering in that kind of sense, and, like, other simpler opportunities that can be really good for finding community once you're done with college.
Speaking of opportunities, I don't want to jump from that topic if other people want to share, but we have another question. Do you feel we have enough local opportunities for community here? If not, what else? I have opinions. I was really afraid of it. I was afraid of it moving back when I started my career here in the area. I'm from here, family and friends and roots here. But most of my career has been in the UK. And that was sort of, it was great living in North Scotland and London and connecting with those communities. But specifically after I lived in Scotland for like 6 years and was moving back home, I was really afraid because I remember how much I struggled trying to work as a solo and ended up working out of an apartment in Troy. And I didn't want to have that same experience again. And there were things at the time that were helpful, like actually the open chapter was around, so anytime I could go to those first I would. But, I just felt like Dundee was this small Lakeside city that had a disproportionately large environment game dev community, and so I thought it was possible in a kind of area that population-wise that's similar to the capital region. So I just figured whatever pieces I was worried weren't going to be there, maybe I can do something to start kind of help that exist. And that was, for me, the initial impetus was kind of fear, feeling isolated and lonely again and moving back here. And then through the IGA Albany meeting, which went to the first one that happened right after I moved back, and that's how I made the co-founder of the game space. And yeah, we've tried a lot of different things to try to find where there are missing pieces. For me, what's missing now is there's lots of great stuff happening in all our respective organizations and communities, but there's still something in the culture of the region I feel that's we get into our own bubble. That's part of why I was really excited about this topic. I don't know, I have theories that probably don't make sense about why it might be, but I do feel it happens a lot. And DPGF is as guilty as this is any other organization. I can get very head down on stuff we're working on and not think about who else should we be collaborating with? Who else has a program that's the next step to help the audience that we're serving this program that we have. So I really want to wire up those pieces. And I think there's been more and more of that happening in things like the digital gaming hub and centers of excellence and things, but there's still a lot more work to do, and I would definitely love to hear from anybody else as far as anything on that topic. Do we have enough local opportunities for community? What's missing? How can we connect?
I mean, so I'm not going to answer that question what's missing. But I think that's important. I just offer some perspective, which is that, as I said, I spent most of my career in the AAA space, which is not a sharing space. Certainly in the 90s and the early 2000s, it was about protecting proprietary engines, and certainly even today, NDAs, non-disclosure agreements are extremely rife in the video game industry as a whole. So, but I would say that the indie space is generally far more community-minded. I would say, having lived in a number of different places around the world, I'm not blind to the issues that are raised and challenges that are faced here, but I would say that this community is actually rather phenomenal in lots of ways in terms of its ability to generate and sustain community. This is something that I haven't seen in many of the places where I lived. And also kind of just throw it back and say, you know, the community sustains itself in part depending on not just Jamie, and, you know, those of us who are involved as well, but also all of us, you know, you guys as well are responsible for bringing some of that energy to the space. And it's not like we don't have the infrastructure that can accommodate that energy. We do have some things in place which many places do not. Our situation with now a burgeoning indie scene and a burgeoning larger developer scene, publishers here too, Harvard Hill and Albany, other colleges around here, and you know, halfway between New York City and major development sphere of Montreal. There's a lot going on here, and so I'm just kind of like I said, I'm not answering that question. There I do think it's important, but I'm saying, hey, we actually have some infrastructure here that can accommodate the energy if you bring it to kind of burgeon and sustain and grow this community even further.
I think it's that energy as long as we can all keep our energy up and keep doing the cool things that are going on, you know, people stepping up in various capacities. I always love seeing, and to the best of my ability, I try to get out to as many events as possible. We're trying to, you know, put on some events as well and get back to various aspects of the community. One area I'll shout out in September, everybody's invited. We have an event on campus called State of Grace, and it's devoted to gender diversity in the tech space, and also as a result in the gaming space as well. And it's going to be 3 days of talks, workshops, and it's free. It's on campus, and we're really excited about the folks we're bringing in. And as I said, we extend that invite to everybody. And yeah, it's just great to see the events. Folks who are I think part of the opportunity is, I think everybody has the opportunity to be involved. So volunteering is a great way, and whether that's, you know, KBC on the West Coast or, you know, an event here, you know, everybody should feel hopefully that they're comfortable to be part of the community. And, you know, through that we have a vibrant and interesting and engaging community. So we all keep our energy up and keep doing what we're doing and welcome new voices and new people into the mix. You know, the hope, I think, is that we continue our momentum. So.
Yeah, we have a really great community here. I think just something to add to this would be my personal experience wanting to have career being audio, being freelance coach. That's kind of a specific thing, right? So I think that's something that we don't necessarily have right now. Is just like that super specific type of community that you might want. So one of the ways that I found to have that community is, well, I do work at a AAA studio, so we have an audio department, so I do have folks there who have been immensely helpful and wonderful, mentoring me, giving me feedback on my work and advice and everything. But I found other communities, online communities, and conference communities. There is a game audio conference called Game Summer Conference that happens every year. Usually in LA, last few years virtually, it's happening in person again this year. But going there, and that goes from a video game music community who are making community albums and stuff like that. So kind of finding those sort of niche opportunities is something that we don't have a whole lot of more niche industry stuff in this area, just I think by virtue of the fact that we're still growing, there's still a lot of growth happening here. But the communities exist. If you're not finding exactly what you want, there are communities that you can find elsewhere to supplement. But this is a wonderful community that we have here, and it's really great coming to these events and getting to see everyone, talk to everybody, and form friendships. Additional questions? No?
That was a great conclusion, thank you. I want to really just thank the panel and also everybody. Let's give ourselves a big hand. I think it's certainly we achieved what we wanted, and you know, I hope it was valuable for everybody. You know, including all of you speaking about it, but also all of us who were witnesses. So thanks.
Thank you, John. Thank you. It's all right.
It's my pleasure.
So I'll tell you on this really quickly. Thank you again to our panelists, and thank you to John for facilitating, and of course to this honestly massive audience. This is great for everyone to be here. So we're going to wrap up the panel session now, and this is for everyone remotely as well. We're going to have a break until 6 p.m. and then for dinner and everything. And then at 6 p.m. we're going to pick back up with pitches for Level Upstate, which is REI's summer 6-week incubator. So it's going to be 5 presentations from 6 to, honestly, probably a bit past 8, but 8:30. So just be prepared to come on back if you're in the area, if you're free.
Can I mention one thing?
Yes, please.
Just wanted to mention also, I'm not to this way, but dinner is a good thing to eat. And take care of yourself. We also have one person who's going to have demo set up as well for anybody who's hanging around or coming in and out. That's going to be Jeremy Rhodes, who also supplied the pens that you've all been using. The local indie dev who works out of the game space. And he'll be showcasing his game PowerBots builder. So anyway, I just wanted to mention. Thanks, Dan.
All right, thank you all again, and so we will be back at 6, and if you want to hang around and just kind of talk and chat, definitely feel free. Thank you all.
Sorry.
Yes, it's my life now. So it's like, all right. Yeah, I'll try to put my shoulders and I think as long as I need to put it pretty well, I feel like I did a great job. Real facts. Last thing. I mean, talk to us. Yeah. As a, yeah. I think the milk tea, I was, it's great, like, you don't have to put it down. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go try to talk about it before I get, best of luck. I think they were gonna, I think, I'm gonna invite you out to dinner if they want to. But if you have to stay here, I understand. I might skip dinner too, because I just, when I went to